I accidentally caused a nuclear war between my family, because I didn't attend my brother's wedding, but the truth is quite shocking. So my brother's wedding happened 2 days ago, and it turned into complete chaos, but I wasn't there. Why didn't I attend? Well, it's because of his wife's family. He sent me an invitation because he wanted me there, but his fiancée told him I couldn't attend because I had a boyfriend. Yep, I'm a man, a bisexual man to be exact, and I have a boyfriend who I wanted to bring to the wedding. She said even though she doesn't have a problem with that, her extremely religious parents, who already forced her to do the wedding in a church, would most likely banish us from the wedding and cause trouble between our families. My brother told me I couldn't attend and told me why. I wasn't angry, I was relieved. I hate going to big events with lots of people because of my social anxiety, and I already was used to not being able to attend certain events because of my sexuality. So on the day of the wedding I stayed at home with my boyfriend, but my parents apparently didn't know I wasn't going. I was cuddling my boyfriend when I suddenly got a text message from my parents asking me where I was, because they couldn't find me at the wedding. I told them I wasn't going and if my brother has told them anything. He had told them nothing. I saw no reason to lie, so I sent them a text message explaining the situation. I don't exactly know what happened after I sent them this message, but they left me on read. Apparently my parents talked to my brother about it and all of a sudden my absence was the main topic of the wedding party. From what I heard, 2 fronts formed. One side was my parents and the rest of my family, and the other side was my brother and his in-laws, as he as a husband now felt compelled to take her side. It's crazy to think that I was just sitting at home living my best life with my boyfriend while all of that crap went down at his wedding. The wedding party was ruined and my brother appeared on my door angrily screaming at me why I felt the need to ruin his wedding. I was confused and asked him what happened and he told me everything. I told him it wasn't my intention, I just told my parents the situation because they wanted to know. He screamed at me that I ruined his wedding. I told him it's not my fault that he wasn't honest with them. I just respected their wish to not attend the wedding. I couldn't know it would go down like this. But I gotta admit it's kinda sweet that my parents and the rest of my family stood up for me. They haven't done it before, but it's a more than welcome change. But I still feel kinda bad because I really ruined the wedding party. Do you think I did the wrong thing here? Update 1. A lot of interesting things have occurred since the original events. So after my brother's visit, his wife and him went on their honeymoon. But I've found out that the way the wedding party went may have been even worse than I imagined. What happened now is incredible. My mom and my dad visited me and told me how the wedding party escalated and they were so close to physical violence. I thought it was funny at first, but this truly bothers me. Hearing my parents' side still gave me a bad feeling in my stomach. The terror started as soon as my brother and his wife went on their honeymoon. My sister-in-law's family found both my Facebook and Instagram account and started spamming me with hateful messages. I received insults and hateful messages from various different accounts. They all had somewhat of a Christian theme and all of them had the same last name. So it wasn't hard to find out whose accounts it was. I don't know my sister-in-law's family at all, but I only know her and her parents were homophobic Christians. They not only started attacking me, they also found my boyfriend's accounts and started to send him the same messages. The messages contained on one side typical bigot stuff like, "You're burning in hell for your sins." One even called me and my boyfriend 2 devils in disguise. The other side were just blatant insults. You get the idea. I called my parents and told them what they are doing. Then I sent a text message to my brother with screenshots of the messages sent to me, and he replied saying that I shouldn't disturb him with that during his honeymoon as I already destroyed his wedding party. I couldn't believe it, he was just like them. He did send me an apology after my mom told me she called him. Here's where things get interesting. I got a call this morning from an unknown number. I hesitated because I thought it was one of them. I was right, but it was none of the people who insulted me. I heard a woman's voice who introduced herself as the half-sister of my brother's wife. She said it didn't go unnoticed what her family was doing and she wanted to apologize for them. I told her I'm not going to tell anyone in her family about this, and that I don't blame her for her family's actions. She thanked me and hung up. I don't know why, but I have this feeling she only did this to protect her family from being reported. My mother wrote to me earlier that she wants to report the insults and the harassment of these people, and demands for my brother to divorce his wife or she will disinherit him from her will. Her reasoning is because that's not how she raised him. A little radical in my opinion, but I understand where she's coming from. Low-key badass. This entire thing escalated so much it's unbelievable. Update 2. It's been a few days. First of all, my boyfriend and I are fine. Luckily for us, they didn't go any further than their text messages. My mom filed a report against them. I don't know the current situation about that as I haven't filed the report myself. The plot has thickened as the lady who called me is actually going to testify in my favor and against her family. It really takes courage to do so. Somehow they found out that she is into ladies too, and no reason to hide it anymore. However, she said she's fine and is going to stay at a friend's house. I have so much respect for what she does. Imagine the strength you need to testify against your own family. I now feel bad for assuming she only called me to save her family from being reported. More importantly, what is the current situation with my brother? Well, my mom talked to him and told him to leave his wife or she will wipe him from her will. He decided to stay with his wife and my mom made her threat come true. He's no longer in her will. My father did the same. When I visited them I also told them that I wish that this entire situation went differently. They assured me it's not my fault, but I can't help but feel it is. I haven't talked to my brother since then, and my boyfriend feels I shouldn't. He also told me he kinda feels responsible for all this chaos. I assured him it's not his fault, it was my sister-in-law's family's bigotry that ruined everything. But now it's time for me to grow distant to this situation. We will see what the report will do. The insulting and harassing messages continued until 2 days ago. Unfortunately, homophobia is still very much normalized in our society. The reason I'm so calm and casual about the situation is the simple fact that I'm used to situations like this, they don't get to me anymore. I've been into situations where I was sent into hospital because I kissed my boyfriend in public, so insults and harassment like this is nothing I haven't seen before. Update 3. So last time I told you my mother was pressing charges against them and to my surprise, we won. They weren't going to jail or anything but they had to pay for their actions, literally. There was one incident where my sister-in-law's dad was actually trying to find out where I lived, and asked my brother who told him. Only God knows what he would have done to us if we still had lived there. But in the time span of the last 2 months, we've moved to a different place which my brother didn't know about. Also their social media accounts were deleted. However, I don't know if this was part of their punishment or if they did it themselves. After my brother came back from his honeymoon he begged her to put him in her will again. She said only if he apologized to me. She invited me and my boyfriend over and my brother sat in the living room with this mad look on his face. She made him apologize but I didn't accept this apology because I could tell it wasn't sincere. He did it because he had to and not because he was actually sorry. I told my brother that I am disappointed in him for who he became. Before that we had this huge bond and never judged each other for stuff like this, yet all of a sudden he has such a problem with me having a boyfriend. I just don't get it. I told him that I miss the old him. He didn't respond to anything. He just sat there quietly staring at the bottom. After I finished he just got up and left. This was the last time I spoke with him and it's already been a few weeks since this happened. My parents paid much more attention to the discrimination I face since this incident. They wanted to learn more about the problems I face as a queer person. I really love them. My dad even got a bisexual pride flag for me and asked if he could hang it in our bedroom. I love that I have such great parents. I just wished for my brother to become the person he once was. Since the case with my sister-in-law's family is over, I didn't hear anything about their lesbian daughter. She supported us during the process but we lost contact afterwards and I just hope she's fine. Final update. There have been some big things that happened. First of all I want to give you an update about the sister of my brother's wife. Around 2 months after my update, she texted us and asked if she could come over. We talked a while and I was relieved to find out that she is fine. She said that she moved in with her girlfriend when the case was over. Simply because her parents and the rest of her family had disowned her and threatened her with physical violence if she dares to return. However, the relationship with her girlfriend ended after a while and she asked us if she could stay for a few days until she found something. She stayed with us for 2 weeks. During that time my parents had visited us and offered her to stay with them because they had a big house with some free space. She stays there currently because she wanted to study and my parents had no problem with letting her stay a little longer. Me and my boyfriend also support her financially a little bit. We included her into several different celebrations such as Christmas and New Year's Eve and I feel like she is like the sister I never had. What's probably more interesting for you is how my brother is currently doing. The truth is, I don't know exactly. We haven't talked since the apology, however he actually tried to attend our Christmas celebration party but the moment he appeared my dad kicked him out and said that, and I quote, "This homophobic rubbish is no longer allowed in my house." I love him. They've now disowned him. My boyfriend and I are still together and I feel like he might be the one I want to marry. This entire situation made our bond so much stronger. I plan on proposing to him but there are so many ideas floating around in my head for the proposal that I can't really decide which one. Any ideas? Also the social media accounts of my sister-in-law's family had disappeared entirely, but I assume they made new ones under new names. I'm just glad all of this is finally over. I don't have any compassion left for my brother. I just wish he had never developed this way. Everything that happened to him he brought it on himself.